Get out of this bed once this morning, that's enough.
I'm sorry, Bennett. I didn't mean to wake you up.
Oh, I don't mind. I love watching you standing by the window watching the sun come up. What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about last night. Bennett, I'm not blaming you. But last night when you took Kim and Tom back to the old Colonial Inn, I mean, I know you had to do it, but darling, please don't ever leave me here alone again.
No, I won't. Why didn't you call Sheriff Hargraves when you heard her knocking and failing to identify herself?
I was going to do that, but then I heard her run down the path, and I was waiting to see if she got in her car. Wait a minute. Why are we saying she and her? You make it sound like you're so positive it was a woman. You don't know.
It was Hester, Lisa.
Oh, come on. Why don't you tell me, what did you and Hester talk about when you came in here yesterday?
She asked me for her job back. When I flatly refused, I guess she decided to stay around till she saw us leaving and then knock on the door that way to frighten you.
That does not make any sense at all. Hester has every key to every room in this inn. She wanted to get in, she could have come in any of the back doors that she wanted to. She could have sneaked around, rattled things, broken more wedding presents, which she seems to like to do, and done anything else to scare me to death.
Just being out there at the front door knocking like that was enough to frighten you.
You're right, I guess it did. The only other time that I've really been frightened was when I saw that hideous-looking letter opener she insists on carrying with her everywhere.
Insisted. Yeah. She's no longer a part of our lives. So let's talk about something more pleasant, okay?
Oh, let's do. I know what. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it tomorrow. When we're going to get married, and we will then be newlyweds.
And after the ceremony, we'll fly off to meet a destiny that began the day we first met, Lisa.
I must say, that's a strange way of putting it.
It's true. When we say I do, we'll be melding our own private destinies into one. What's wrong?
I don't know. Just when you say melding our destinies. Bennett, that sounds a little morbid. Instead of starting our new life together, it's as if we were ending it.
Mr. Jordan, I just wanted to be special for Lisa.
Oh, it will. And now, unless there's something else, Mrs. Stewart, I really have to get back to the banquet office.
Everything's fine, thank you. I know it's going to be lovely.
It will.
Well, now that that's all taken care of, I can sit back and enjoy myself like everybody else.
Yeah. Kim, I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
You've been to Norwich a couple of times now, visiting Mom and Bennett. What do you think of them? I mean, really?
I think that Lisa just adores him, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, but she has a tendency to gloss over all his bad points because she's such an incurable romantic.
Well, if you're talking about all of his moods, maybe that's just because he's a writer. Maybe he's bound to have these kinds of...
ups and downs.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what Mom keeps saying, but with Bennett, it's more than that. There's something mysterious about him, almost as if he was trying to hide something.
Oh, Tom, I think that when someone has been as disillusioned as Bennett was by his first wife, I think that a person like that has a tendency to hold back on their feelings and their emotions. I mean, he doesn't want to open himself up to the same kind of hurt again.
Well, that's great. Well, I mean, what does that mean for his second wife?
Well, I don't know. I think I see a change in him already. I think Lisa's encouraged him to be more self-confident, and once they're married, I'm sure she'll teach him to trust again.
I wish I could be as optimistic as you are.
I'll tell you one thing. The last thing in the world Lisa needs right now is to see apprehension on your part.
I think she's too head over heels in love even to notice that. But there's so many questions still unanswered about Bennett and the Willows and whatever happened to... Is there something I can do for you, Hester?
Listen to me. Please, both of you. This is the last time I'm going to see you before the wedding. And if you don't heed my warning now, by tomorrow at noon, it's going to be too late.
Tell me, Bennett, what is that heavenly scent that is just drifting into the room from the kitchen?
That's Ida preparing breakfast. You know, she even came in early to bake fresh rolls.
What? Oh, my goodness. That is just great. I'm so glad that she didn't come to work for us a long time ago. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to fit my wedding dress. Oh, speaking of my wedding dress, I must try that on today. I want Kim to look at it. Everything must be perfect.
You know, I was going to wait till breakfast is ready to go pick Kim and Tom up, but I could go now if you'd rather.
No, I'm not going to have much time to spend with you today, so I'm going to be selfish and just have you to myself as long as I possibly can this morning.
Why? What do brides-to-be do on the day before the wedding?
I don't know. This bride-to-be has to go to the beauty parlor and get her hair done and maybe have a nail patched. I don't know. And this groom-to-be is going to work on his novel.
No, he isn't. It's finished.
Finished? Oh, Bennett, I don't believe it. Why didn't you tell me you finished your novel? That's wonderful.
No, I didn't. I finished it yesterday before we went to the airport to pick up Kim and Tom, but I didn't want to tell you because I want to give you a copy as a wedding present.
Oh, that's such a wonderful present. Now, when can I read it? When?
How about on the plane to Jamaica? That way I can watch your reaction.
That's not a good idea.
Why not?
Oh, just because. I don't know. It's not a good idea to watch my reactions.
If you don't like it,
No,
I'll
that's
understand.
not what I mean. I have a very bad habit. When I get a novel, I always turn to the back and I read the last chapter first. I just have to do that, my curiosity. I know you authors don't really approve of that.
Lisa, that's never a good way to read
Well,
a book.
I know that, but I'm just so curious. Oh, come on, give me a hint about it, will you?
Well, you've already read the first few chapters. So,
I have, yeah. Well,
guess how it ends.
what?
Guess.
Oh, I know how it starts. Let's see. It starts, well, it would have to start here at the Willows. That I know, right? The Willows. Then it would have to go, well, a segment in New York City. And, oh, come on, tell me. I can't. Give me a clue, Bennett, please.
Okay. I'll tell you where it ends.
Okay.
On a deserted stretch of beach, turquoise water crashing against reefs that seemed to have a pulse and an anger of their own. But a peace you could only find in heaven.
Now, that sounds like you're talking about Jamaica.
That's right. My book ends in Jamaica. Perfect place for an ending.
I told you the last time that you asked me to take my mother back to Oakdale. I can't do that, Hester. Especially when you won't even tell us what these warnings are about.
Well, I can't, Mr. Hughes. But if you love your mother, you will get her to leave the Willows before something terrible happens to her.
Just a minute, Hester. Before you go any further, I think you should realize that Lisa told us why Bennett had to let you go. Also, we realize that you've been trying to frighten her away from the Willows ever since she came. Now, that makes it a little difficult to give any kind of credence at all to these warnings of yours.
Get her away before the wedding. That's all I can tell you.
Kim, if Bennett comes and calls our rooms, he may think we've already left. I think we better wait for him in the lobby.
Bennett's coming here? You mustn't tell him that I talked to you. You can't tell him that I talked to you. If you do, Mrs. Coleman will be in even greater danger.
You're the one who better worry about being in danger. Because if you get up to any of your old tricks, when Mom and Bennett get back from their honeymoon, so help me, all the things you've done to try to harm my mother will seem mild compared to what I'm going to do to you.
They won't come back from their honeymoon, Mr. Hughes.
What is... She seemed pretty far gone the last time I was up here, but Nothing compared to this. I better talk to Dr. Bickford about her. He helped her through her last breakdown last year. If you ask me, she's well on her way to another one.
Good morning, Kim.
Bennett, good morning.
Tom, did you sleep well?
Yes, thank you very much.
The clerk at the desk told me you were in here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if I can just get our check, we'll be ready to go.
I'll take care of that. Why don't you go out to the lobby and collect your things?
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. We'll see you out there.
I thought I saw Hester coming out of here when I walked into the lobby. She must have been talking to Kim and Tom. Why didn't they mention it? Unless she warned them not to.
More coffee?
Oh, thank you. No, I had more than my share this morning before Bennett picked us up.
Well, I certainly hope the two of you didn't have your breakfast before you came in. Ida has prepared a fabulous breakfast.
Are you kidding? We've been looking forward to more of Ida's cooking ever since dinner last night.
I'm glad you liked it. Mrs.
Oh,
Coleman?
yes, thank you, Ida. I am just so delighted that Ida's here with us. I really am, because now when we go on our honeymoon, I know everything's going to be safe. She's going to look after everything for us, and then when we come back, we'll redecorate, and oh, you're a joy to have around.
I'm glad you approve.
Oh, I do.
Ida, we're ready for breakfast anytime you are.
Yes, Mr. Hadley. It'll be just a few minutes. Excuse me.
Certainly.
I'll get that.
Oh, thank you, Ida.
The Willows. One moment, please. Mrs. Coleman, it's for you.
Oh, all right, thank you. Excuse me just for a minute. Thank you. Hello?
Are you alone?
I'm sorry, could you speak up? I can hardly hear you.
If Bennett is with you, you must not react in any way. If you do, he'll realize I'm calling you.
Who is this?
This is Ruth Hadley, Bennett's first wife.
Why are you calling me?
Came to the inn last night to talk to you in person, but you wouldn't answer the door.
Oh, well, why didn't you identify yourself when I asked who you were?
I thought if I did, you'd be afraid to let me in.
Believe me, I have no reason to be afraid of you.
Surely Bennett's filled your head with all kinds of vicious...
Look, I'm sorry. Are you calling long distance, or do we have a very poor connection?
I'm not calling long distance. I'm right here in Norwich.
In that case, why don't you speak up a little bit?
I can't. Someone here might overhear me. You're getting married tomorrow.
Yes.
I have to talk to you before that happens, Mrs. Coleman.
Why?
I'll explain when I see you. But we can't meet during the day. Someone might see me, and that would be dangerous for both of us. Tonight, then.
Tonight? That's absolutely impossible. I have a wedding rehearsal tonight, and after that I'm going to a beautiful party over at the Colonial Inn, so
Leave the party and meet me at the Willows at 9 o'clock sharp. Come alone and don't tell Bennett where you're going.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's one thing I cannot do. I do not keep secrets from Bennett. You see, we don't keep secrets from each other, and I'm certainly not going to start that the night before I'm married.
9 o'clock at the Willows.
Hello? Wait a...
Lisa, something wrong? You look very pale.
Oh, I'll be all right in just a moment.
What happened? Who called?
I'm almost afraid to tell you.
Oh, come on, Lisa. Who called you and got you so upset?
It was a woman. She said her name was Ruth.
That's impossible.
Why?
Well, it just is, Lisa. It couldn't have been Ruth.
Oh, Mrs. Stewart, it's so nice to see the Willows so happy and full of people again. It always was like that until things started to go wrong between Mr. and Mrs. Hadley.
Oh, you worked for the first Mrs. Hadley before she went away?
Oh, sure. I used to come in to help Hester out, just day work. And then when Mr. Hadley fired her, the last time, that is, I came to work for the Hadleys full time.
I didn't know that Bennett had fired Hester once before.
Oh, he did. And that's when things really started to go bad with the Hadleys' marriage. It's sad. They were so happy, and then one day she just wasn't here anymore.
What was she like, Ida?
Well, Norwich is a very small town, Mrs. Stewart, and people love to talk. But Ruth Hadley was just as sweet as she could be to me, and so pretty, just like Mrs. Coleman.
Yes, I understand they look quite a bit alike.
Very much. Oh, you won't mention what we were talking about to Mr. Hadley, will you? I wouldn't want him to think that...
No. Don't worry about it. It's just between us.
Oh, thank you. Because I know Mr. Hadley'd never hire me back again if he thought I was talking about him.
I don't think you have to worry about that. You heard what Mrs. Coleman said this morning about being so happy to have you here and so pleased to be able to leave things in your charge.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Mr. Hadley about that because when he asked me to come in to help out this time, he said he wouldn't be needing me after the wedding. Except just for a few days to clean up after the reception.
Really? Is that what he said?
Well, that's what he said, and he even paid me in advance and told me where to leave the key after I locked up.
Well, maybe because Lisa had such a time with Hester, maybe Bennett didn't want to make a commitment to you until he was sure the two of you would get along.
I sure hope so, Mrs. Stewart, because I'd just love to work for...
Oh, Lisa! Oh, you look so beautiful.
Are you sure you mean that and you're just not trying to make me feel good?
Come
now?
on, no, of course that isn't. She was beautiful, Ida.
Mrs. Coleman, you'll just have to excuse me until I catch my breath. You looked so much like the first Mrs. Hadley as you were coming down the stairs with your hair fixed that way.
Oh. Well, I certainly hope Bennett doesn't have the same reaction.
Oh, well, I think his only reaction is going to be pride because his bride is so gorgeous.
Yes, well, you sure are. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some things to do in the kitchen.
I'm not going to wear my hair like this. I really am not. Not if it's going to make me look anything more like I'll look like Ruth and I already do. I'm sorry. I'm just so edgy. Ever since I got that phone call today from that woman who said she was going to meet me here tonight at 9 o'clock.
Well, now, listen. Bennett said there was no one in the world that could be Ruth.
I know that's what he says, but it isn't true. I know that it had to be Ruth. As sure as I know that it was Ruth who came here and whacked Hester over the head and left her there unconscious the night that we came in from New York and found her lying there.
Well, now, you're not going to be foolish enough to come back here tonight and meet her, are you?
Oh, Kim, of course not. What, and leave my beautiful party? Oh, of course I wouldn't do that. Come over here at 9 o'clock and listen to some woman try to tell me some lies about Bennett.
Mom, Kip, we're back.
Get out of here, Tom, and take Bennett with you.
Is that any way to greet your two favorite men in the world?
It certainly is when I have on my wedding dress and my husband-to-be is standing there staring at me. Bennett, close your eyes. Come on,
Mom,
close your eyes. It's bad luck.
stop that stupid superstition for a while. We have a surprise for you.
I don't care what. Just move it. Get.
We better bring him in, otherwise she'll never be
What are
quiet.
you talking about? Bring who in?
All right, come on.
I told you I'd do my best to be here.
Oh, I knew you'd come. I just knew you would.
You really think you know me that well, do you?
Oh, yes, I'd better after all these years. Oh, Tom, isn't it wonderful to have your father here? Now everything's perfect.
Please.
This is lovely, isn't it?
Why, how beautiful. We have music, a fire, and everything just as gorgeous.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Coleman, but the real credit goes to Mrs. Stewart. I just made a few suggestions along the way.
Oh, honestly, but I think that all the times that Bennett and I have been here, I didn't know that they had, thank you, darling, I didn't know they had a little private dining room.
That's a nice surprise for you. Why don't you sit over there next
Excuse
to
me.
Bob?
Kim?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I just hope our little dinner party isn't going to be a letdown after that lovely rehearsal. It was so moving.
That was only the rehearsal. Wait till tomorrow for the real thing. Won't be a dry eye in the house.
I'd like to know who wrote the vows.
Bennett did. Bennett is the author. I just do all the talking.
I thought that was an interesting phrase you used about melding our own private destinies into one. Very lyrical.
Thank you, Kim. I'm afraid my wife-to-be doesn't share your enthusiasm.
Oh, that is not true. I never said that it wasn't poetic. poetic. It's just that I thought that was kind of a strange way to say that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But when I hear it with all the rest of them, it sounds entirely different, and it's really quite beautiful. But this morning when you told me, I mean, I was half asleep.
You're absolutely right, Mom. Bennett is the author, and you are definitely one who talks too much.
Oh, Tommy, would you please take care of your son?
My son?
Yes.
Why is he my son only when he says something you don't like?
Lisa, would you like to dance?
Oh, darling, I love you.
Oh, excuse me, please. Mr. Jordan, would you like to pour the champagne?
Ah, yes.
It's really surprising to think of Dana in New York. You know? Of course, you always did wonder if she missed that career she had before she met you.
You're right. And I think this is the only way that she really will find out if dancing is out of her system.
All right, Tom, perhaps you'd like to propose a toast.
No. I'm the best man. I'm saving my toast for tomorrow, the reception. Dr. Bickford, how about you?
Oh, no, I'm afraid I haven't prepared anything. I'm not good at that sort of thing,
Well,
Tom.
since I'm thirsty, I'll propose the toast. And I'll make it short and sweet. To Lisa and Bennett, may have all the health and happiness in the world. My only regret is that you'll be living here in Norwich, and most of us will be in Oakdale, and we won't be able to share your happiness the way we're sharing it tonight.
Thank you. Here. And to all of you, our dear friends and family.
Thank you.
That was lovely.
Well, thank you.
For saying that. Oh, sweetheart, would you mind?
Nice,
I would like to borrow this handsome gentleman and dance with him old time's sake, okay?
My pleasure.
Excuse us. No. Bob, that was really such a lovely, lovely toast. I thank you so much. And you don't have to worry just because we're going to be living far apart. You're always going to be very close in my thoughts. And I'm going to keep up with you. Kim will tell me what you're up to, and so will Tom.
Well, you know, I have my little spies watching out for you, too.
Oh, I'm so glad you came. Bennett! Bennett, what's wrong? Kim? What happened to Bennett?
Lisa, I have no idea what happened.
Oh, well, I'm going to rush after him and try to explain. There's no reason in the world for him to get so upset like that.
Lisa, you're aware of Bennett's jealousy enough to know that it gets the best of him sometimes, and he can't react rationally.
Excuse me. Did something happen to Mr. Hadley?
Oh, why do you ask?
Well, I just saw him race through the lobby, get into his car, and drive off.
It was just a slight misunderstanding.
Well, now I'm going to have to go after him and straighten this whole thing out. Here. Oh, dear, I don't have a car. Dr. Bickford, may I please use your car?
Mom, if you're going after Bennett, I'm going to come along.
No, you're not. Now, I can take care of this myself, darling. Don't. I know how to handle Bennett, so it's perfectly all right. Just don't worry about me. I'll be fine. With the keys, please.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Lisa, you don't even know where he went.
I know he went to the Willers. But look, sit down, enjoy yourselves, have a good time. I'll be back before even you are left.
Now, Lisa, be careful. The roads are full of sleet.
Don't worry about me.
I'm sorry. Bennett has an uncontrollable jealous streak. I've tried to talk to him about it.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, now what's going on?
Oh, this always happens when ice forms on the wires, Mrs. Stewart.
Oh, if there's ice on the wires, there's ice on the roads.
Well, we'll call your mother in a few minutes, and if there's no answer, we'll head over there and see if she's all right.
Yeah. How are we going to get there? Bennett's got the station wagon. Mom just took Dr. Bickford's car.
Well, I'm sure we can find a car if we need one.
I wouldn't be too concerned about Lisa. She's dealt enough with Bennett's moods to know how to make him snap out of them. I only wish Ruth had learned.
Well, I think we should just take Lisa's advice and try to have a good time till they get back. That's all.
Good.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah. Well, now what happened? They flickered before, but they came back on.
Well, I'm not sure. The main power lines that service this whole area might be down.
Does that power line service the Willows, too?
Probably everything on this road.
Oh, terrific.
Yes, but there's no problem. I'm sure we'll get the power back soon as they get the crews out to repair them, that is.
Uh-huh. Can anybody see what time it is?
Yeah. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Howard's not out there yet. I'm sure he'll be here soon. Come on now, what's wrong?
Who's there?
Oh, good Lord, 9 o'clock. Ruth Hadley said she'd meet me here at the inn at 9 o'clock.
Oh, Ruth, are you up there making noises and trying to frighten me? Oh, so you're back there, huh? Ruth? Answer me! Now,
Call the sheriff first before I do any. Oh, no. Phone's dead. Phone's dead. Phone's dead, and the lights are out. My earrings are falling off. What else?
all right, Ruth. Come on now. Answer me. Are you there? Who's here? Please answer me. Hello? Hello?
Oh.